Hi everyone! This is the Christmas dress we're going to be making, and it has some cute little bead work done on it, and I will show you how to do the beads. And the skirt is made of a shell stitch, and the same shell stitch on the bottom, and on the back it is just done up with a button and a loop. And it's a very simple A-line dress, and you should be able to make it in time for Christmas. And so you will need 2 skeins of 6-ounce Caron Simply Soft yarn or any other soft yarn. And this color is called Autumn Red. And then I just used 1 skein of the same kind of yarn in just a cream color. And then you can get any size of beads you would like, but I just chose these small beads. And then you need a yarn needle that will fit through the hole in the beads, plus a little bit of yarn, because that makes the width bigger on the needle. And then I used an E4 hook. If you would like to make this dress in a bigger size, use a G or an H hook, and that would make it a size or 2 bigger. And so come along as we make this dress, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, to start with, chain 50, and in your 3rd chain from your hook, take a half double crochet and 1 half double crochet into every stitch all the way down. At the end, chain 1, skip a stitch, and take a single crochet. In the next stitch, take 2 single crochets, and then in the next stitch 1 single crochet. Next stitch 2 single crochets, and you will repeat this process all the way to the end. Okay, so we've come to the end, and if on the end you're supposed to end with 2 single crochets in this last stitch, just do 1 single crochet in the last stitch. Chain 2, turn your work, and in the 2nd stitch from your hook, do a double crochet. And do double crochet in every stitch all the way down. Okay, you've done your double crochets all the way down. Chain 1 at the end, turn your work, and in the 2nd chain from the hook, you're going to be taking single crochets again. Do 2 single crochets, 1, 2, and then from here on out the pattern will be 2 single crochets into 1, and then a single crochet, and then 2, 1, 2, 1 all the way down. Alright, so rather than ending with 2 single crochets at the end, again only end with 1 single crochet in 1 stitch. Chain 2, in the 2nd chain from the hook, do a double crochet, and do 1 double crochet in every stitch all the way down. Okay, we just finished our row of double crochets. Chain 1, in the 2nd chain from the hook, take a single crochet, single crochet, and then in the next stitch you will take 2 single crochets into this stitch, and you will repeat that all the way down. It will be 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, and 2 stitches in the same all the way down. Alright, at the end of this row, chain 2 and turn. Every time you're going to be doing double crochet in the next row, you just chain 2. And then take 1 double crochet into every stitch all the way into the end. 1 double crochet in every stitch. Okay, at the end of this row, before you chain 1, this is where you're going to change colors. So get a loop of your new color. This is the cream that I've chosen. and just bring up a loop, and then turn your work, grab your ends, and wherever I say change color, this is how you're going to do it on the end. Okay, so you've got your ends right here, and we're going to be doing single crochets on this row. So skip this very first stitch, go into your next stitch, and take a single crochet. And as you are doing so, you are catching the ends. I don't know if you can see that. Let me see if I can turn it a little bit better. And then you will take you know, 7 or 8 stitches, and then you can cut off the ends, or you can just keep going until your ends completely disappear inside your chains. So take 1 single crochet of the cream all the way across. Okay, for this row we're going to be changing colors again back to your main color. So you will switch colors right here at the end. You will start with a chain 2, and you can see I have a chain 1 of my first color, and then I brought up my second color and did the chain 2, and then you're going to be doing a double crochet and 1 double crochet into every stitch all the way down. Alright, after our last row of double crochet, this is what the collar looks like, and it doesn't need to lay flat, so don't worry about that. You will tie off and just make a simple knot right here after you've done 1 slip stitch into the first stitch of your previous row. And then that's where it will be tied off, and then you can cut it off. And then this is where you will add your second color. And you're going to be adding some beads before you start your second color. And I've put 30 beads on here. This is 4mm beads, and you'll use a yarn needle. And make sure when you get your yarn needle that the beads will fit through, that your needle will fit through the beads plus the extra bulk of your yarn to pull through. And if you can see my needle head, it's pretty small to fit through those 4mm beads. And after you've put 30 beads on there, then you can come over and tie a square knot onto this end that you already have hanging off. Okay, so now that you have your second color tied on with a knot, and don't worry about hiding these ends in your work, because we're going to be doing shells, so they would just stick out weird. So after we're done with this row, come back with your yarn needle, and on the inside take the ends and weave them in, and then cut it off so you don't have any ends sticking out. Okay, so pull up a loop of your second color and chain 2. And in this same stitch, take 2 more double crochets. So that you have what equals a chain 3 with the, or 3 double crochets with this first chain that equals your first double crochet. Okay, this is where you will pull your bead up. Just pull up 1 bead, and then you will chain 1. See how the bead kind of sticks out of that little chain 1 space, and you can even make it a little bit looser if you wanted to, so that it sticks out more. Okay, so after your chain 1, you will yarn over and take 3 more double crochets into the same spot. 1, 2, 3. And anybody watching my videos knows I always take my stitches too tight. I apologize. Okay, so you will have this bead that sticks up out of the top of each of your shells, just like that. So you have 3 double crochet, chain, it's 3 double crochet, pull up a bead, chain 1, 3 double crochet. Then you will skip 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, go into your 5th stitch, yarn over, and you will start another shell with a chain with 3 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, and then you will pull up a bead. Oops, sorry, I'm pulling from the wrong end. And then pull up a bead, and you can pull it out a little loose. Chain 1. Pull up your bead a little bit. I mean, you don't want it to be hanging down, but it can hang out a little bit. Chain 1, and then do your 3 other double crochets. And then, double crochets. And then just remember to skip 4 in between each shell, and then we will come back. Alright, when you've come back around from putting all your beads and doing all your shells, you're going to have 2 to 4 double crochets left over right here, and it doesn't really matter. Just skip these stitches at the end and take a single crochet in your very last double crochet of this row, and then cut it and pull it through. And then you have these ends sticking out right here still. If you haven't weaved them in yet with your yarn needle, just make a square knot on there and weave the ends in on the back. Okay, the next step is to just take your second color and tie it on right here where you've joined these two, and you can just tie another knot. And this is the inside that's facing me. So put your thread to your yarn towards the inside and fold down this the shells, because we're going to be working on the inside. So take your hook and go through the very first double crochet of that row that you hooked your shells to. Go through just like that of your first double crochet and pull through a loop. We're going to be working single crochets on the inside hooked to these double crochets. Okay, and then once you've pulled up a loop, take a single chain, now go through your next double crochet, put your hook through. Now remember, we're working from the back. Pull up a loop, and then take your single crochet. I'll show you one more time. Take your hook, go through the back, pull up a loop, and this will be the foundation for our skirt. And take one chain into the back of each double crochet through to 4 shells like this. Once you've done 4 shells worth, then we'll come. Alright, so we've made about 21 single crochets into the back of your work, and if you've done a couple more or less, that's alright. It's not exact science. This is where we're going to be making the armhole. So start a chain, and I've already chained 5, and we're going to do 7, 6, 7, and then this is where, if you would like to make the dress a little bigger, you can add a couple chains to make the armhole bigger. This is going to be the bottom of the armhole. So skip over 6 shells and join it in between the 6th and 7th shell, and I just marked it here so I could make sure I wasn't getting in between the wrong one. And then you're going to be doing the same thing over here. Just fold down your shells and then just continue on taking, darn my tight stitches all the time. And this is where you're going to just continue on taking your single crochets into the back, and you will do it over 8 shells. So continue on your single crochets over 8 shells, and then we will come back. Alright, so once you've crocheted underneath the 8 shells, and you'll stop just in between the 8th and 9th shell, and you will skip over the 6 shells just like you did on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you will join it right here. So you've chained 7 again, sorry. You're chaining 7, and you're joining it right here, and you will continue on with your single crochets until you come all the way back to this point on this side. Okay, so you've come around to this point, and to join these two sides, just take another single crochet. You just put your hook through like you've been doing and hook it onto the side with a single crochet. And now we're ready to start the skirt. So chain 2, and this will be your first double crochet, and we're going to be making shells just like we did on the edging. So in the very next stitch, take your second double crochet, and so you will be doing 3 double crochet, chain 1, and 3 double crochet. And then once you've done that, you will skip 4, just like you did for these shells. So 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet, and this is all into the same stitch to make a shell. And then you will skip 4 and do another shell, and you will make these shells all the way around, and you're hooking them into the single crochet row that we just made. So here we are at the end of your first row of the skirt, and we just have the white shell edge folded down. And so when you've come to your last shell, and it doesn't matter how many spaces you have left, I have quite a few spaces left, or how few you have. You can squish this last shell in, or you can spread it out. So after you've done your last shell, yarn over and take your next shell into this middle space of your first shell that you made. And that's where you will be taking all of your shells. And you will be working in rounds from here on out. So you can just keep going around and around and around until you get this dress as long as you want it to be. And instead of skipping 4 stitches or however many it is, you will just continue making your shells into the top of the next shell all the way around. Okay, so I ended up doing 24 rows of the shells, and when you're on the back, right below the back, you can cut your yarn, and then that's where you will join your second color again. We're going to be doing this exact stitch on the bottom, so you'll just repeat it. So remember how we did? We bead it on, we thread it on. I put on 22. I counted that we'll need 20, but I always like to put on extra just in case. It's easier to have more than not enough. So I'll show you how to do that one more time. So you've cut your yarn, and you will just, oops, if I can get a hold of it, and you'll just start with your yarn over into the middle of this shell. And don't worry about catching your edges, because it's easier at this point to just go back with a yarn needle and thread them into the back side of your dress. And that's okay if you have a stitch that looks like that you have a little bit of your first color on it. It's not going to show. So remember, you do 3 double crochet, and then you thread up one of your beads, push that down in there, take a single crochet, and then this is the point where you can pull it up a little bit like we talked about so that it'll stick out a little more. And then you finish with your 3 double crochets, and you're doing it just like you did the collar. And then come back all the way around to this point. Alright, when you've come back all the way around, cut your thread, tie it in a square knot, and then take your yarn needle and weave it in and out on the inside of the dress so that none of the ends show. So now I'm going to show you how to finish the neck the neck opening. What I've done is I've taken a button, it can be really any size button you want or a little pearl button you choose, and then you just take your yarn and just hook it right there. And on this side's a little trickier. Just bring your yarn up through the back and then back through this way. And what you're going to want to do is put it around your button and pull it so that there's only like 1/4 of an inch left. Hold this part tight so you can see if this is big enough to get off around your button. And that's the best way I know to decide how big you need to make it. And then just eyeball how big it is and make sure it stays that big as you're tying the knot. So tie a square knot with it that big behind it, and then we'll come back. Okay, so fit the little loop onto your button, make sure it's a good fit. You can even double this over if you feel like it needs to be more sturdy, and you can also put a button and a loop here too if you want, but I found that just one is enough. Thanks for coming along as we crocheted this great little Christmas dress. I hope you've had as much fun as I have. Thanks everybody, bye-bye.